Okay, Coco, you can be in the video, but you can't be the star. No, I can't accept this. Come. I love you. Come here. I love you too, jealousy. Okay, you two. Let me... Okay, just because there's no one in the room. I'm not speaking to you, I'm talking to you two. Please. Okay, Coco. Are you ready? No, why are you doing this? Hey, beautiful family. I'm having a bit of a battle with my dogs while I make this video, or try to make this video. It's an important video, and it could not wait until I'm out in nature, so I'm doing it at night while everyone's in bed. Being around so many children, so many rescue dogs, well, finding peace and quiet is not always straightforward. Tonight, God sealed a prolonged period of a rising epiphany within me. And he sealed it using a very short video from a man I mentioned recently, Reverend Michael Beckwith. And Reverend Michael Beckwith is from Agape International Spiritual Center. A few hundred of you saw the video, not as many of you watch the videos about the charity as what watch me, but if you do watch it, they provided special needs teacher for education for more than 20 children here in Kilimanjaro who have never had education. Many of them were even living just locked away in the dark, actually. So it's phenomenal what they've had. This expansion of their being is tremendous to watch, and to watch it unfurl in the world. But, and it's a big but, he had a short video. And funnily enough, I've been drawn lately to certain parts of scripture, and one of the parts I was drawn to was that God is not a respecter of people. And this culminates into a huge journey that many of you have witnessed and watched. And why is it that God is not a respecter of people? Well, the way Reverend Beckwith put it, you can be all the good things you want to be, you can do everything right, but it's your vibration that God is going to meet. It's not your deeds. Now, your deeds can help to raise your vibration, but it's your vibration that God will respect. It's because that is where you access consciousness. Now, this comes into the idea of attracting your reality through the vibration you emit. Now, it's not a direct thing. A law of attraction is not as simple as people say. It's, as Jesus spoke about it, whatever you so ask in prayer and believe, you will have it. And the problem is some people will even ask for things by complaints or prayers to Satan, as I call them, as Bob Marley called them, and I'm using a lot recently because it's just so poignant in my life. And persons are seeing around them that those who complain a lot about sickness get more of it. And those of you who have watched me through my health journey, there went I. And I want to explain what happened. Now, do you just attract everything? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There is a beautiful little girl in our care called Nazra. Recently we had to have her leg amputated because her grandmother beat her so severely that this was the end result. The leg could not be saved. That was how severe it was. That little girl did not attract that. She did not bring that into her life. Her grandmother manifests evil from a force which must be acknowledged in this world that I live within, helping those in need, that there is an evil force. And I call that force Satan, but Satan is a word that represents that energy of evil and negativity and wrongdoing. And other persons have other names for it, but my label is Satan. Satan's not a man with horns and a pitchfork. It is a force, and it is a force that can come through humanity. And we almost integrate within our shadow, integrate the shadow within us to find that oneness. Because if you don't accept that, then you can't work to help humanity. Because when you see evil in others, you don't recognize the potential for that in yourself, and so you don't feel whole, and then you can't help them. When you have someone who you're trying to help, and for instance, you're working with addicts, etc. Recently we've had issues, so on and so forth, people stealing and so on. You can't judge them and take it personal, because you have to understand that if my body had been chemically attuned to these drugs, I too might be stealing to try and satiate the call of my flesh. And it happens that way. And we don't always attract it. I have a young girl with cerebral palsy who is blind and she is deaf and she has a baby. She is a child and she has a baby. Obviously, she did not attract the monstrosity of the human being who did that to her. She can't have done. How can she? She's innocent. She's pure. She did not attract that. She was a victim to that force. That force exists and wishes to push against the light. And it's there. And sometimes that force also brings things like sickness. Now, this is one of the problems we have, and forgive me for bringing that low energy stories to you, but this is reality. Let's not hide from truth so as we can dance around in the higher vibrations constantly. We hear that, it's a low vibe, we bring ourselves back up and we seek the gratitude that those children are safe and cared for and loved because Creator gave me a path to make it so. However, and it's a big however, many years ago, I became sick and I was hit hard with sickness repetitively. For those of you who have followed, you know, I didn't just have tick-borne illnesses, babesiosis being the most damaging one inside of my red blood cells. I had other things happen to me and I was living in an extremely high vibratory state. I got hit with malaria, typhoid, amoebiasis, but so do many other good people. And if you research into the saints, etc., you see that many of the saints also got sick. They are not bringing it to themselves, that it is an opposition to the light. But it's also a falsehood, because as St. Francis said, all the darkness in the world cannot extinguish even a single candle. But it will push against the light. It will push against the physical vehicle that the light and the vibration of goodness is trying to come from. As my body weakened in that state, there were other multiple factors as well. There were environmental factors. So I go down into my health and I'm staying in my state of gratitude. I'm staying positive. I am health. I am health. I am health. I'm telling myself over and over. I'm repeating it and I'm rejecting it. I'm rejecting my sickness. My home environment, however, I'm living in a children's village. I'm living also in a Tanzanian village where people have heard there's a man up there who will help you. And every day people would wake me up, or I would wake up and people would be there wanting my energy. And I just kept giving it. And it was okay for a while. But eventually my cup became imbalanced and you cannot pour, as the old adage goes, from the empty cup. Now the problem I then faced was I was starting to have pain from my illness. And as the pain came into my illness, then the catastrophe occurred. And the catastrophe occurred because the sickness of my physical body entered my mind. And when my mind got sick, I became powerless. Because instead of waking up and being, I am health, I am forgiveness, I am love, I am light, I am all of this. I was waking up and I am in pain. I am hurting. And soon before long you really can't offer gratitude for these things because they wear you down. Persons who have been sick or who have conquered addiction, both things I have done, they wear you down.
This is Wordy. A life before was a difficult one. By being born in a family where both parents were drug addicts, she grew up in an unpleasant and dangerous environment.
Now you and I can get together, let it start a revolution, change the world to what it should be, and forget all this confusion. We can live together for the sake of love. What are we fighting for? Oh, now we can start.
Thank you all for your support. You've touched our life tremendously.
If we could just learn to give a little love, you and I.
And once that enters into your mind, into your narrative, you're in trouble. When it goes into your narrative, you're in a lot of trouble. Because inside the narrative, inside the inner narrative, changes the emittance of your presence in the world. It changes it. as time progressed, I was not only feeling these problems, I was affirming them and speaking them to myself. And I was thinking to myself, why, God? Why are you doing this to me? Why is it getting worse and worse? Look at me. I'm trying my best to help these children, to help these animals, to help the environment. I'm trying my best to exude this light from me, and you've allowed me to fall into this state of ultimate distress, spiritually, mentally, and physically. But I believed I was in distress. And as Jesus said, whatsoever you ask and believe, you will have. And it got worse and worse. In time, things began to change. In time, I managed to diminish my pain using various techniques. I managed to do one last push against this illness with a long water fast. And those of you who have not fasted, when you fast, there's no getting away from the fact that your vibration is going to rise up. There's no escaping that. When I did that final fast, I knew I was weak, and I was very weak. By the end of that fast, I was hospitalized. The first time I have fasted for 40 days and nights. I fasted 33 days, 28 days. It's not the fasting that was the problem. It was my weakened physical state. I could not recover from the fast in the correct way. I was hospitalized. Despite that, however, when I cleared that hurdle, something shifted. I started to speak life and not death into my circumstance. And even when my wife would say, oh, he's not having a good day, I'd go, whoa, who's not? She'd go, but you're in pain. I'm not in pain. She could see I was in pain. And I'd say, no. In short term, I'd rebuke it. And even with myself, I'd catch myself. People say, how are you? I'd want to say, my legs are hurting. And I'd go, I'm great. I'm getting better. I spoke to the situation and I walked by faith and not by the sight of the situation. I didn't respond to the narrative of the physicality that initial force that I call Satan had thrust upon me to stop me from manifesting the work that I was for God. Because you can be a vessel for God, but you must also match him, because God doesn't respect the person. He respects the vibration. He respects your consciousness. God was probably watching me, probably suffering with me, feeling my pain, thinking, good Lord, I can't get into your carnal mind. I can't get in and show you who you were and why this happened. I can't get in and remind you that you have a profound manifestational ability because you are centered, but whatever you are centered upon is going to manifest. And you are centered upon praying to the enemy and calling the sickness onto yourself, because when you wake up on a morning, you're feeling a pain in your leg. And instead of going direct to the things that you're grateful for, like you always did to make this happen, you're going to the pain, and you're going to the complaints, and you're going to the, again, prayers to Satan. The late great Bob Marley said. And despite all of this medical technology, which I needed, remember there was a lot of things went on. We had poisons filtered from my blood, which we don't know where they came from. Likely a push from the opposition, Satan, that negative force working through dark manifestation in other human beings that are not in the vibratory state that we are. It was all required. There's a need for emergency medicine. There's a space for it. But, and it's a big, big but, despite all of that going on, it was only when I accepted that it is key and only going to occur through that key, in fact, that I speak life and I understand that my vibration is high enough. And I knew something was wrong. I recently said in my last video, I said to you, my friend said to me, that friend said, why all of a sudden can you do this again? When you said to me not long ago, who am I to teach? Who am I to share? The reason I was being told that from myself was because I was getting it wrong. Who am I to share? I'm new to this. I'm not perfect at it. I was getting it wrong. I was saying my negative self-talk. And if other people are looking to me, How can I continue to speak when I am caught in a trap? And I can say with hand on heart, in a breath that fills my body with love, that I've seen the trap. Not only that, for all I'd been working it out and I could almost see it clearly, today, this short video from the great Michael Beckwith, a man I respect dearly, and I don't know him personally, but what I do know of him I respect and I love. That short video was the summit of a long drawn, bubbling out of me epiphany. A long drawn out journey of seeking that epiphany, of seeing that epiphany. I say to everybody, always, God loves you, it's a life sentence, you won't escape. God will love you forevermore, just as you love your children and your loved ones, even more intensely, because there's no carnality to filter. But there are laws here, and the law states that we have a free will, and we have a free will to move our state of consciousness and vibration through our actions. And that is what God respects. It doesn't mean He doesn't respect you if you're a good guy. It doesn't mean He doesn't applaud you if you're doing something well. It doesn't mean that God isn't happy when you help one of these children like we do, for example, or you set up education for these children from child labour, or rescue a dog. Of course God's happy. But when He looks at you as a human being, it's not that He's looking at you and saying, you're a good person, I'm going to make sure that you're okay, because He does not suspend the laws. If a good person ceases to drink water and ceases to breathe, they're going to die. God doesn't suspend the laws because they're a good person. Likewise, if you alter your state of vibration, if you alter your state of consciousness, then you too are subject to that which you move your attention to. Doesn't matter how good you are. If you fall for those tricks, if you do it to yourself on a self-destructive internal pattern, whatever it might be, God can still look at you and say it's a good person, but it's irrelevant, because the laws He has stated, as they state, if that good person doesn't breathe, they're still going to die. That good person steps in front of a car, they're still going to die. That good person changes the high vibratory forces of gratitude and love that Jesus Christ told us to stand in. Then so be it, they become victim to the law. I taught this with ferocity before I was sick. Thoughts become things. Be careful what you focus on. Be careful what you speak. Be careful the words you use. Maya Angelou said something. Maya Angelou said, "You need less than you think." This is so true. My healing journey, I needed much less than what I thought. My life was saved by technology that filtered my blood. We all know this. It was inescapable. There were physical poisons put into my body by a physical force. There are laws here. But I was relying on all of these things, and the reality was I really needed much less than I thought, because all I in the end had to do to get to this point from being bedridden was to minimize it all and come back into that central small space of right in the middle of all I am in the kingdom of heaven, and start saying, I am health, I am. I am that I am. You cannot guarantee when working to serve God that you won't be opposed by Satan. Persons have free will around you. Persons around you can fall for temptation. Persons thus around you can do dark things to you as they do dark things to the children I mentioned earlier in this video. That is the evil aspect of manifestation in this physical world. That will always be present, and the beauty of it is, however, that it can't extinguish the light of even all the darkness in the world. St. Francis said, cannot extinguish the light of a single candle. You see, I was allowing the dark in my vibration to encroach upon my being. And when I did bit by bit, what I was forgetting to do was to light my candle. And God was waiting for that too. Because he was looking at me saying, yeah, okay, I love you. Yes, you're doing good things, but your candle's gone out. Of course the dark's encroaching on you. Now when I wake up and I fill myself with gratitude, I do my breathing exercises, and I know, watch me change this world. This is what I tell myself, watch myself change this world, because I know this power and I've used it already and I'll master it and I'll use it again. And for months I've been building up to this thing that I knew and I understood. And today with a short video, it was cemented on my being forever. This short video from this man, Reverend Beckwith, beautiful soul, full of light. This short video cemented on my being a lesson that I long needed, remembering that I've only been a student of the truth for 10 years. 11, actually. 12. I'm older than I think. 12. But it was cemented on me. It's there. And that's why I can speak about it with this. Yes. Because I know it might sneak in because I badly programmed my mind. I badly programmed it. My mind got sick. The worst thing to get sick is your mind. You'll lose the one power you've got to fight the physical illness when it creeps into your mind. And it might have some inorganic, habituated patterns in there where it rises up again. But I'm positive. Right now, I'm positive. Because of what I feel now and my understanding and the clarity of the whole journey and the understanding, that I'll catch it. I'll catch it before it ever even takes root or even starts to germinate or even gets in the soil. I love life. I love God. I love the teachers of this world, and I hope that I can impart that which I learned with God into the world, and that you can take something from this too. Because what a beautiful life it is when you actually understand it. Because prior to this attack from Satan, which made my body have pain and then sickened my mind, I lived it, I understood it, and I'm living it and I understand it again. Watch how fast we can grow the support for these children now that this lesson is sealed forever in my heart. I know it, I feel it, I see it, and I can't wait for tomorrow. God bless you all. I love you guys. I really love you. Bye. Coco, I want to make a video. Coco, I just said the other day about stones and ripples. In my prayer, my centeredness must be a larger ripple than the distractions around me. But this is very, very intense training you're giving me. Please let me make a video. Okay. Shall we lay down now and let me make a video? Yeah? Okay, come on now, you get it. You can be in it.